Hey, let me ask you something. How is your team making sure no task gets missed across different departments? Because once a company starts working across multiple teams, it becomes very easy for things to slip through the cracks. A task is due today, but the assignee forgets. Another task becomes overdue, but no one follows up, and leadership does not always have clear visibility into what is still pending. This is exactly where delays start. Recently, we built a full operational structure for an education and training company. The company had multiple departments, including finance, marketing, sales, compliance, and customer success. The cleanup structure was already in place, but the real challenge was making sure tasks did not get missed. Because even with a strong workspace, if people forget due dates or do not notice overdue tasks, the process still breaks down. So the issue was not just task management. It was making sure the right people were being reminded at the right time without relying on manual follow-up. So why did we use Slack instead of only ClickUp? Now you might have this question in your mind. ClickUp already has notifications, so why build this in Slack? The reason is simple. Inside ClickUp, overdue tasks may still sit in the overdue views or lists, but that does not always create the repeated visibility the team needs. And even if we use ClickUp automation, the reminders still stay inside ClickUp. But for this company, Slack is where the team already communicates every day. So instead of asking people to keep checking ClickUp, we connected ClickUp with Slack through Make. That way, reminders show up where people are already active. For example, if someone has 10 overdue tasks from the last 10 days, they can see all 10 tasks in one Slack message instead of scattered reminders. That is what makes this setup so useful. So for this, we built the automation using ClickUp, Slack, and Make. The goal was simple. Every day, the system would check which tasks are pending and which ones are overdue, and then send the right notification to the right employee. We also wanted to keep the setup efficient. Since Make has operational limits, we built everything inside one workflow instead of using multiple separate scenarios. That keeps the system cleaner, easier to maintain, and more cost efficient. Now let me show you how this works. Every day at 5 p.m., the automation triggers automatically. Once it runs, it checks the task data coming from ClickUp. Then inside Make, we use a router to split the logic into different branches. One branch is for pending tasks, and another branch is for overdue tasks. So from one scheduled workflow, we can handle both reminder types at the same time. Let's start with the pending task side. In this branch, the automation checks if the task is still not completed. Then it compares the due date with today's date. To make this comparison accurate, we format the due date so only the day, month, and year are matched. That means the time part is ignored, and the system can compare the exact date properly. So when the due date matches today, the task is treated as a pending task. After that, the automation checks the assignee. We use a text aggregator here so tasks can be grouped by assignee. That means if one employee has multiple tasks due today, they do not receive separate scattered messages. Instead, they receive one clear Slack message showing all of their pending tasks together. The message includes the task names and due dates so they can quickly understand what needs attention. Now, this is where the workflow becomes more practical. We already know the Slack IDs of the team members, so once the system checks the assignee inside ClickUp, it matches that person with the correct Slack user and then sends the message directly to that particular employee. So each person only sees the tasks assigned to them, and this setup is also scalable. If a new employee joins, we can simply duplicate one branch, change the assignee condition, and connect it to the right Slack user. So the workflow is easy to expand without rebuilding it from scratch. Now let's move to the overdue side. We added another route specifically for overdue tasks. Here, the automation checks whether the task is still not completed. Then it checks whether the due date is less than today. If it is, the task is marked as overdue. After that, the same logic runs again. The overdue tasks are grouped by employee and sent as Slack reminders to that specific person. So the employee not only gets reminders for tasks due today, but also keeps getting reminded about tasks that are already overdue. That means if something has been overdue for 1 day, 2 days, or more, the system keeps notifying them until the task is completed. And that is very important because overdue tasks are usually the ones that get buried if no one follows up. Why does this matter? This kind of automation is important in any company because the biggest problem is usually not creating tasks. The biggest problem is making sure people actually complete them. With this setup, employees can clearly see what is pending, what is overdue, and what needs immediate attention. And managers or team leaders get better visibility without manually chasing people. So instead of someone checking overdue lists every day and sending reminders manually, the automation handles that part automatically. So instead of tasks being forgotten, the right people get notified automatically. Instead of overdue work sitting quietly in a list, the system keeps bringing it back into attention. And instead of managers manually following up, the workflow supports accountability across the team. This is not just a reminder automation. It is a practical accountability system built with ClickUp, Slack, and Make. If you found this helpful, follow for more automation and system design breakdowns.